What's up guys, it's Trevor with Embers Fireplaces. Today we're going to show you how easy it is to cook a brisket or smoke a brisket. If you're busy or you're an amateur, a brisket is sort of a cut that a lot of people sort of shy away from. We're going to show you how easy it is, and sort of two things that you need to remember. Actually, one thing, with brisket, it's all about temperature. It's all about controlling the temperature of our grill or our smoker, and it's all about controlling the internal temperature of our meat. It's actually really simple when we break it down. So we're going to show you how we did it, how we're going to do it. So what we did last night is, we'll show you an overlay here, but we got our brisket last night, spent about 10 minutes just seasoning it. We covered it in Traeger seasoning and then saran wrapped it and let it sit in the fridge overnight. So now what we're going to do is, I like to cook in these foil pans. It's just easier, keeps juices in here. So that's what we're going to cook it in. So we'll get it in here now. It's pretty messy because the salt sort of started pulling out some of that moisture overnight. But essentially what we're going to do is just, oh yeah, look at that. How awesome does that look? Now, one tip when you cook this, it's not required, but this is the lean side. What we want, the fatty side up, and we're not going to rotate it. The reason we want fatty side up is so those juices from the fat cook into the brisket, rather than if they're on the bottom, they would just drip into the bottom of your barbecue. So fatty side up. So I just decided to do something. I don't even have this on the grill yet, and I'm already going rogue because it can't hurt. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bacon, and we're not gonna actually eat the brisket with the bacon, but since we're not rotating it, I thought, you know what? Sometimes you see in recipes something when you would least expect it, just throw some bacon on the top of it. And why would we do that? Well, because it can't hurt. How many times do we say that on this show? Because we're not going to make it taste any worse. But essentially, we're going to throw this bacon out after it cooks, but this thing's going to be on the smoker for 8-9 hours today. So we're going to let this bacon fat reduce down into the brisket. And it's going to be awesome. I mean, look at this. You're telling me that this is not how you want to cook brisket? That's exactly what we want. All right, now we're ready to put it on the smoker. Okay, so we're out here with our grill. I got my jacket on because we had an unexpected blizzard last night, so it actually makes it perfect to try this, because we're going to see when we're below freezing temperatures how well this baby can hold up. I was going to cook it on the Traeger, but the more and more we use this Memphis grill, I am absolutely in love with this machine. This insulated hood just holds temperature like perfect. The sales guys better be careful here, because they're going to watch out, because this grill's going to disappear. It's going to end up in my backyard. That's how much I like this thing. But we're not trying to do a plug or anything. But in order for a brisket to be easy and simple, you really need a good smoker. And that's why we like to use pellet smokers, is because Kamado style grills, they're awesome, but when you have something on the grill for 9-10 hours at a time, and you have to go to work, you can't sit there and control temperature and control your draft all day. You need something that's essentially going to work like an oven. And the biggest mistake people make is they're always opening the lid. That gets rid of all of your moisture and all of your smoke, and it takes it so much longer to cook. So you need a good product that's going to hold temperature, and you can't open the lid. Now, in order to not open the lid, it means you need a good meat probe, or something you can be watching the temperature externally, because like I said, brisket's all about temperature. In order for that meat to really break down and to really dissolve, and that tissue to break apart, the muscle tissue has to reach an internal temperature of 203 degrees. So we have a very fine line there. That's really hot for an internal temperature of the meat. If you go too much past that, you're gonna overcook it, you're gonna dry it out. So what we gotta do is we gotta pull it at the exact temperature, which is easy if you have good equipment. So again, we're not trying to make a plug here, but for us, a pellet product cooks just like a convection oven, which means we don't have to flip this. We put our meat probe in, we watch our meat probe temperature externally, and we are good. We don't have to touch this thing for 9 hours if we don't want to. We're gonna tent it about halfway through, keep some of the moisture in, but that's the key, is not opening the lid, letting that moisture stay in the grill itself, and watching that temperature on your meat probe. That's it, that's all you have to do, and you'll have perfect brisket every time. So let's get it on the grill here. So, we're just gonna set this whole pan on the grill. There we go. So it's pretty tough, but how awesome is that? So now, we'll come over here, we shut this. This is gonna be left alone now. We're not gonna open it. And you can see over here, with the Memphis, we're set at 275. You can see it's climbing back up the temp because I opened the lid out here in the freezing cold. So that's the key. Remember, don't open the lid. And we're gonna hit probe 1. Probe set. We're gonna set our initial alarm to 160 degrees. See, the meat's at 40 degrees in it right now. The reason we're doing that is once we reach 160, our smoke flavor is locked in. You're not going to get that meat any more smoky than that. So at 160, we're going to throw a little beer on it and tent it with aluminum foil to really create like a moisture lock, so that brisket's not going to dry out even more so. And then at that point, we'll set our temp to 203, and at 203, we'll literally pull it off and let it rest. So we're done for now. We're done for probably 4 or 5 hours here. So we reached 160 degrees, so come up here and take a look at this. Look at this puppy. She is looking good. You can see too, I kind of like that tray because it keeps some moisture in there. So today we're going to put a little upslope craft lager in here. Now, like I always say, I don't really know how much of a difference this makes, if it really does anything, but can't hurt, right? Is this gonna hurt anything? Is this gonna harm anything? Nope, can only help it. So I'm not gonna use the whole can in this one, just half can, get a little moisture, because this beer is cold, so I don't want to cool it down too much because it's gonna take some temp away. And then, like you see us do in our other videos, I'm just gonna tent this. What we do, you just cover it with foil. That's all we want. And once we cover it with foil, we'll come back. We'll reset our meat probe to 203 degrees. Now, as I said before, this is not a mandatory step. It's certainly one I suggest if you can do it, but if you're at work all day and you don't have time to get home and do something like this, that's okay. It's not a problem. It's still gonna taste great. Because the idea is once we're at 160 degrees, you're not going to get any more smoke flavor into this guy. It's maxed out with its smoke flavor. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back in, re-plug in our meat probe. So we plugged in our probe. Now we're going to set it for 203, and that's the magic number. At 203, we are going to pull this off. And like I said, we got here right when we got to work. 12:30 now, so we got 4.5 hours before we gotta go home. So 40 degrees to go. We'll see. Hopefully we make it. All right, so we brought this home and we just pulled it off the grill. We literally just opened it one time to tent it. So here it is. Let's take a peek-see. there she is. So you can see the bacon obviously cooked off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this off. All right, so we're gonna take all this bacon off. So let's start cutting it open and see how it looks. Now, because it's been cooking all day, it's gonna have some bark on it, but you can see we have a nice smoke ring right here. That's perfect. So you wanna cut it super thin. So you can see here we got some nice juices coming out of this baby. So you just cut her open and you can see we got some nice moisture in there. That's what we wanted. And when you tent it like that, your brisket doesn't dry out, because you got to remember this thing's cooking all day long. So that's exactly what we want to see there. Okay, so I just got it all cut up. I literally opened up the grill one time today. So this was on for over 9 hours. Opened the grill one time and it's all cut up and ready to go. So that's how easy it is to cook a brisket.